Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. Out here at the range today with heavy metal. Today I am super excited about this video. This is going to be my very first time sending some 338 RPM downrange. Let me give you a quick look at this rig, then we'll go back to the bench and talk a little bit more about this setup. But this is a Weatherby Mark V Backcountry 2.0 chambered in Weatherby's new cartridge, the 338 RPM. I'm not going to dive super crazy nerdy into that cartridge this video. We've done that in a couple previous videos. Go check those out if you haven't already. But the 30-second spiel on the 338 RPM from Weatherby is it was designed to use Weatherby's 6-lug action, firing a 338 projectile in a lightweight package. So this Backcountry 2.0 by itself, depending on the barrel that you select, we got the steel one out here today. They also make a carbon fiber, but depending on the barrel you put on here, these are 5 pounds, give or take a few ounces. So without the optic, it's just in there right at 5 pounds, give or take a few, like I said, depending on the barrel, which comes in at a very lightweight package. But at the same time, with that Weatherby 6-lug action, we're still able to include a whole lot of horsepower with that 338 projectile. We're going to get into some speeds and energy and all that stuff, but here today, this is our very first shots and sighting it in. Just got this rail and optic on here, torque to spec and everything, so we're not going to have any problems. But let me go to the bench, show you a little bit more about this setup, how I got it set up. But super excited. Weatherby Mark V Backcountry 2.0 chambered in 338 RPM. It's going to be awesome. Let me get you to the bench here, then we're going to get right to sighting this baby in. Super excited to take it for a spin. Check it out. Alright, so closer look up here on the table. Got that carbon fiber stock, which big contributor to keeping this entire package super lightweight. On the rail here, I ordered a Warren specifically made for these Mark V 6-lug models, and I opted for the 20 MOA version. We're definitely going to stretch this one out in another video, and that's just going to help us out a little bit. And then the rings there, I put these areas on there. I use these on a lot of my heavier recoiling rigs. Give you another look at those rings. I've got these rings on my 7mm mag, and I've also got these rings on my 338 Win Mag, so shouldn't be a problem on the 338 RPM. Optic we got on here is a primary arms scope. This is the GLX. Pretty slick scope here. I'll show you the reticle we've got on this thing. Definitely going to help for some longer range shots, whether we take this one hunting or if we're out at the steel range doing some longer range stuff. That optic definitely going to help us out. But sweet scope, primary arms optic. Got that Warren rail, and these rings, like I said, I use on the heavier recoil and stuff. I've had really good luck with that. And then these are the boo lights we're going to be sighting this baby in with. The 338 Weatherby RPM. These are the 185 grain Barnes TTSX rounds. So 185 grain Barnes TTSX Weatherby Select Plus ammo. That's what we're going to be sighting it in with. Let me get this thing bore sighted real quick, and then we're going to go back to 100 yards, take our time, and get this baby dialed in. I'm excited. While I'm thinking about it, just in case anybody is wondering, I kind of prefer to do a rail when it comes to this type of setup. Tally also makes rings that direct mount right here to the receiver. So if you don't like a rail, there's tons of different ways you can set this up. Tally is a pretty common one that people like to put on Weatherbys, where you can just have your rings directly to your optic and not have to have a rail right there. Just throwing that out there. A lot of people prefer that, and Tally makes some good ones that you could use if you have this rig. Alright, so the whole point of this whole video is getting this thing sighted in. So I'm going to bring you along and just show you real quick how I bore sight stuff. So already have got it bore sighted with the laser. Super simple. You just stick the little laser on the end, and then I like to get the hit about 1.5 to 2 inches below the aim point at 10 yards. You can see right there I've got paper at 10 yards. That's just how I found out always works best for me. So I'm going to send one here. I'm going to actually load 2 here. We're going to take our very first shot here and see where we're hitting at 10 yards. And then I'm going to make a quick adjustment from there. If we have to send another one, we will. And then we'll go back to 100. That way, hey, I'm not back at 100 trying to guess. If for some reason something's off at 10 yards, we'll be able to fix it real easy. Just the way I do it. But here goes the first one ever. I did install the factory muzzle brake on here. But let's see where we're at 10 yards here. So, initial thoughts, I got the factory brake on there. Everybody and their brother has been messaging me, man, that 338 RPM, that's going to kick like a fool. Well, there was my first squeak. There was my first trigger squeeze on it. Not that bad. Honestly, about what I expected. You guys probably saw it in the camera, however much it pushed back or whatever, but not that bad. I would let my wife shoot that one, no problem. Now, without the brake, that might be a different story. We'll probably do that in another video showing you guys without the brake. But you can see our hit there was almost exactly where I wanted it to hit on that bottom dot. So I'm going to go ahead and just click it to where we are, slightly to the right and slightly up more, and then I'm going to go back to 100. I'm not even going to send that second one I loaded. So I need to come a couple clicks this way. And then I'll do about the same amount up. And we'll go back to 100, see where we're at, and dial it in from there. Alright, here we go. Back at 100. And we're going to get it dialed in perfect at 100 yards. I talk to you guys every day. A lot of you guys say you like to do your sight into 200. I prefer to do everything at 100, and then we do our dopes from there. So I'm going to go ahead and have 3 in here. Have that one in there I already didn't use. And we're going to get it dialed in. Take our time here. Really focus on our squeeze. Man, this thing feeds really good. It's nice when your hunting rig feeds effortlessly, especially if you're out there hunting, like this is a hunting rig. If you need a follow-up shot, you do not want to have a jam and miss the buck of a lifetime. I always like to point that out one way or the other if something feeds well, and hey, so far we fed 2 and they both went in there like glass. But like I said, I'm going to focus on my squeeze here and get it dialed in. So there you go. We're on paper. I'm going to go ahead and make a adjustment here based off of that hit, and then we'll take another squeeze. Yeah, right there ought to have us pretty close to the bullseye. Send another one. There it goes again, feeding super smooth. Really focus on my squeeze. This thing has a really good trigger on it. And hey, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to call that a 2-shot sight-in. Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to let that cool for probably just a minute here, and then we're going to move over to a clean target and do a 3-shot group. So I'll be right back and we'll do a 3-shot group. Back to cool again. I'm going to put 3 loaded up here. Take my absolute time here. Come on, baby. And see what I get out of a 3-shot group here, and then we'll make our final adjustment based off of this 3-shot group. But so far, woo, absolutely love this rig. The recoil is not what you would expect. And with that brake on there and everything, it's not quiet. I'll tell you that, it's not quiet. But like I said a second ago, I'd feel comfortable letting my wife take this one out. And this optic also has like 4 inches of eye relief, 3.5 to 4 inches or so. It might be 3.5, but incredible eye relief on this scope as well. So that helps with the 338 too. But enough yapping, let's slow down and get this 3-shot group done here quick. Clean target. Another thing I like about this reticle is it has a chevron. I really prefer either the chevron or a dot in the center of a reticle. Alright, so that one hit a shade up and right, but I definitely felt good about that squeeze. Also, make sure you're subscribed and tuned in for future videos. Got the notifications on. I'm going to do an ammo test with this rig of the 338 RPM, so stay tuned for that. But I'll send 2 more and finish up this 3-shot group. Felt good about that squeeze as well. So far, it looks like we're working on about a 3/4 of an inch group. Felt good about that squeeze too. Looks like our up and down is almost perfect, and we need to come left just a shade, so let me adjust for that, and then we'll finish it off with one final 3-shot group. Where do we need to go here? It's right, so it comes just a shade this way, and then how much up do we want to come, or down rather? I think those 2 little adjustments there ought to have us dead on bullseye. Let me go put a clean target up. Alright, so I took a quick break and let it cool again, just so we make sure we're getting rid of all the variables that could be out there. Let's see where we're at now. Let's do another 3-shot group here and see if we're dialed in for our final sight in here. Take my time, focus on my squeeze here, and we quit the yapping and just send 3 down range here. That was a good squeeze and looks like a bullseye. That was a good squeeze there. A little bit down and left from the first one. And that one is touching the first one. I think that second one, the rest might have jumped just a shade, but this thing definitely is a winner. I love it. But let's go down there and look at those groups here real quick. Based on that, I'm not going to change the right to left, but I am going to bring it up just 1 click. Yep, and then we'll be good. Let's go down there and take a look at how we did. Alright, so coming up to our targets quick here. This was our first one, our first shot. then made a scope adjustment and just kissed the bullseye. Then I did this 3-shot group, made a scope adjustment based off of this, and then this was our last 3-shot group. Let me go and grab the calipers and we'll measure these groups, definitely under an inch by far. Alright guys, back at the house. Of course I forgot my calipers to the range, but I got them back at the house. Just to show you real quick, that was our first one sighting it in. That was our very first getting on paper at 100 yards. Adjusted the scope, pretty near got it on the bullseye with the first adjustment. Then my second paper, our very first 3-shot group, first time ever doing a 3-shot group with the 338 Weatherby RPM. I got a .66, and that's with those 185 grainers, the TTSX. 0.6. Not terrible, not terrible. But then my second group, getting more used to that trigger, I got a 0.51 inch group there. Not too shabby. We're getting in the realm of really good there with a 1/2 inch group. Sneak peek. I won't spoil it too much for you, but I've had more time at the range with that 338 RPM since this, and we're getting even better groups than 0.5 inches. So make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss all the videos we got coming out on Weatherby's brand new cartridge, the 338 Weatherby RPM. Absolutely love it. Like I said, once this cartridge was first announced, I started getting tons of messages. That thing's gonna kick like crazy. Well, you guys saw it in the footage there. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's got some recoil, but I've had a lot more things at the range that have recoiled much worse. So that's less recoil than 4570. I'd probably even say it's less recoil than my 450 Bushmaster. But hey, recoil is really relative. If you're used to flinging 22 LR today, then the 338 RPM might feel like a beast to you. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. Very first trip to the range today with that 338 Weatherby RPM. Getting it dialed in, getting our first attempts at groups. Very first attempts at 3-shot groups, 0.6, 0.5. That's doing pretty good. But like I said, stay tuned. We did even better than that. You don't want to miss all the videos we got coming out on this cartridge and a whole lot more. Make sure you're subscribed, got the notifications on. We got a new video every single day, guys. Working hard at bringing you guys lots of content, as much as you can handle. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. We got the best viewers on the interwebs. So far, guys, I'm sold. 338 Weatherby RPM. It's a lightweight package, but still has a whole lot of horsepower. And take my word for it, I mean, it's in the tape right here, guys. It really is not going to beat you up like everybody's expecting it to. But hey, take one for a spin yourself and see what you think about it. But appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you on the next one. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this cartridge? WHOTEEWHO!